Hephaestus, the lame god, from Olympus to the forge, his true story. Greetings, dear viewers of our channel. Today, we embark on an exciting journey into the world of ancient Greek mythology and get acquainted with one of the most fascinating and controversial gods of Olympus, Hephaestus. This god was the patron of fire, smithing, and all craftsmen. Despite his physical lameness, Hephaestus was not only a respected god, but also a master craftsman, creating incredible works for gods and heroes. We'll talk about his origins, myths, role in mythology, and his influence on ancient Greek culture. The origin of Hephaestus. Hephaestus is the son of the supreme gods Zeus and Hera. However, his birth is surrounded by several myths, one of which tells that Hera bore him on her own, without Zeus's involvement. It is believed that she did so to avenge her husband for bringing Athena into the world without her participation. From birth, Hephaestus was different from other gods. He was lame and, according to one version of the myth, so ugly that Hera could not bear his presence and threw him off Olympus into the ocean. However, sea nymphs Thetis and Eurynome picked up the infant and raised him in an underwater cave, where he began to master the craft of smithing. In another version of the myth, Zeus threw Hephaestus from Olympus after he stepped in to defend his mother in an argument with his father. In this myth, Hephaestus's fall was connected to his attempt to protect Hera from Zeus's wrath, for which Hephaestus paid the price of being exiled to earth. It was after his fall from Olympus that he injured his legs, which became the cause of his lameness. The image of Hephaestus. Hephaestus stands out from most Olympian gods not only in appearance, but also in character. He was often depicted as a stocky man with large hands, as the god of smithing was always engaged in heavy physical labor. His distinctive trait was his lameness, a quality that, under different circumstances, might have made him an object of mockery. However, Hephaestus's strength lay not in his physical form, but in his craftsmanship. He was renowned as the best blacksmith, capable of creating incredible works. Symbols of Hephaestus included a hammer, anvil, and fire, all associated with the art of smithing. According to legends, Hephaestus's forge was located underground, and its location was linked to volcanoes, which explained their activity. For example, Mount Etna in Sicily was considered the site of his workshop. In this hot and fierce environment, filled with smoke and fire, Hephaestus labored, creating magical items for gods and heroes. Role in Greek mythology. Hephaestus played one of the key roles on Olympus, as he was responsible for creating weapons and armor for gods and heroes. One of his most famous creations was the lightning bolts for Zeus, which the latter used to strike his enemies. Moreover, he crafted the armor and shield for Achilles, which helped the hero in the battle for Troy. According to myths, his creations were not only functional, but also possessed magical properties, aiding their owners in achieving victories in battles. One of Hephaestus's most remarkable creations was the shield of Achilles, described in Homer's Iliad. The shield was not just a protective device, it depicted entire worlds, scenes from everyday life, war, and peace, making it a symbol of deep wisdom and understanding of the nature of life and death. Another famous creation by Hephaestus was the chariot for Helios, the sun god, which crossed the heavens every day. Even the god of war, Ares, used Hephaestus's services, as his armor and weapons were also made in the forge of this skillful master. Personality and character of Hephaestus. Despite being rejected by his mother and lacking ideal looks, Hephaestus's inner strength manifested through industriousness and talent. He did not aspire for glory or war like other gods, but his craftsmanship placed him alongside the most revered deities of Olympus. Hephaestus symbolized the creative force that, through labor and patience, creates something great. His abilities in creating art and utilitarian objects underscore the importance of crafts and labor in ancient Greek culture. At the same time, Hephaestus was known as a god who had weaknesses. His marriage to Aphrodite, the goddess of love, was filled with contradictions. It is believed that this union was arranged by Zeus, but Aphrodite never loved Hephaestus and preferred Ares, the god of war. Upon discovering his wife's betrayal, Hephaestus devised a clever trap. He created invisible chains to capture Aphrodite and Ares during their secret meeting, and then publicly displayed them before all the gods. This was an attempt to assert his honor, though the result was more humiliating. Interactions with other gods. Hephaestus was not only a skilled craftsman, but also played an important role in the conflicts among the gods. One of the famous myths involves his participation in chaining Prometheus to a rock. Prometheus defied Zeus's will by giving fire to humans, for which he was severely punished. Hephaestus, as the master blacksmith, was summoned to forge the chains with which Prometheus was bound to a rock, where an eagle tormented him daily. However, Hephaestus felt compassion for Prometheus and performed his task with regret. This myth highlights that even a god of crafts can be a prisoner of orders and circumstances. Another important myth involves the creation of Pandora, the first woman who, according to myths, brought all the world's woes and suffering. Zeus ordered Hephaestus to create Pandora from clay and water, and Hephaestus carried out this task with all his skill. This myth symbolizes how art and craft can be used not only for good, but also as a punishment for humanity, making Hephaestus's character even more complex and multifaceted. Main myths and legends featuring Hephaestus. The myth of Athena's birth. One of the most famous myths featuring Hephaestus is associated with the birth of the goddess Athena. According to the myth, Zeus swallowed his first wife, Metis, when she was pregnant with Athena, fearing a prophecy that their offspring would surpass him in power. After that, Zeus began to experience unbearable headaches. He summoned Hephaestus to split his head open with his hammer. As soon as Hephaestus struck Zeus's head, a fully armed and grown Athena emerged from it. This myth underscores Hephaestus's important role in the birth of one of the most revered goddesses of ancient Greece, the myth of Prometheus's chains. Another important myth involves the punishment of the Titan Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods and delivered it to humans. To punish him, Zeus ordered Hephaestus to chain Prometheus and bind him to a rock in the Caucasus, where an eagle would peck at his liver every day. Although Hephaestus was forced to carry out this command, the myths say that he did so with regret, as he felt compassion for Prometheus. The myth of the marriage to Aphrodite and the trap for Ares. Hephaestus was married to Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, but their marriage was unhappy. Aphrodite fell in love with Ares, the god of war, and began an affair with him. Upon discovering this, Hephaestus decided to catch them in the act. He created an invisible and unbreakable net that captured the lovers in the moment of their infidelity. He then called all the gods of Olympus to witness his wife and Ares in this humiliating position. However, it did not bring him expected satisfaction. While the gods laughed, his plan did not lead to retribution. This myth emphasizes Hephaestus's personal drama and his inability to control his matrimonial relationships, despite all his skill. Conclusion: Hephaestus, despite his physical shortcomings and complex relationships with the Olympian gods, remains a symbol of creation, labor, and craftsmanship. His story shows that strength lies not only in physical form, but in the ability to create, innovate, and overcome challenges. Hephaestus was one of those gods who, despite his invisibility in great wars and battles, played a crucial role in the life of Olympus. Hephaestus is a figure of diligence, wisdom, and talent that inspires to this day. His craft of smithing became a symbol of creation and art, and his persona reminds us that labor can be the most significant form of expressing strength. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed our story about Hephaestus and want to learn more about ancient Greek gods and heroes, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. There's much more interesting to come.